What's up, y'all? Welcome back, 80 Fitness Live every Sunday at 12 Eastern Time. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're talking about beginner mistakes.
Yes.
What they are and how to avoid them. You don't want to look dumb. You don't want to look like a beginner. So don't go in there and make the mistakes the beginners make.
Absolutely.
We're going to lay it out for you so you don't have to make the mistakes. You don't have to waste your time. And you don't have to look dumb.
Absolutely. It's all about making those gains. So definitely don't want to waste your time when you could have been putting on muscle size or losing weight and all that good stuff. So
yeah, progress is slow enough when you're doing everything correctly. If you're doing it wrong, progress is just going to be that much slower. So
absolutely. All right. So let's go through the first one. Probably the most important one, not having a plan. I mean, you literally, as a beginner, can't just walk into a gym and expect that you're going to know what to do. In fact, when I go to the gym, I can pick out the beginners right away because a lot of times they're just spinning wheels, not quite sure what piece of equipment to use or how to use the equipment. And so what do you end up seeing? You see the person doing 20 sets of bicep curls and then they walk out and leave.
Or they'll do a set of squats and then a set of wrist curls. And then stretch, and then cardio, and then leave.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's, a little misleading. You have gyms like Planet Fitness, like it's the judgment-free zone. Everyone's, beginner and happy and welcoming, but you still have to know what to do once you get there.
If you want the gains.
Yeah, it's not going to be that intuitive.
That's why Planet Fitness is so, I already said it. You're allowed to look dumb in front of Planet Fitness. That is where you're supposed to go and be a beginner and make your mistakes is that Planet Fitness. Because at the other gyms, they're going to tell you, dude, you're doing that wrong.
Absolutely. And some of the gyms will have that 30-minute workout circuit that you can do. And that's great, perhaps for total body if you're short on time. But for most people, that's not going to be sufficient, right? We all have individual needs and things that we need to work on. And so you really need a plan that's customized for you and what goal that you're trying to achieve if you want to be successful.
Yeah. To me, not having a plan is the same as not being educated. In this day and age, the information's out there. There's no excuse you should walk in a gym without a clue. Unless you're going there to hire a trainer.
Yeah.
There should be no excuse. You didn't Google a workout or YouTube a workout or tune into 88 Fitness's workouts and get a clue before you walk into that door.
Absolutely. And plans aren't one size fits all.
No, they're not.
You can't just go on TikTok and see an influencer and take that plan and implement that yourself. Like that might not be what you need or the level that you're at. So
it's individualized towards your goals.
Absolutely.
So it's definitely not one size fits all.
But yeah, just to, summarize, it can be a very overwhelming environment for a beginner. So if you want to feel more comfortable and you want to feel more confident and reassured that you're going to be doing the right thing, then you need to have that plan in place.
Yes. And I laughed when I heard that and I apologize. The gym is the only place I'm comfortable. I'm overwhelmed everywhere else I go. Ask Camille. We'll go to the grocery store. I'm like, nope, too many people here. No, not going in. Seriously. But the gym is where I'm comfortable. I laugh because it's the opposite for most other people.
Yes.
They're comfortable going grocery shopping, not going walking into the gym.
Another common mistake I see a lot is just the beginners utilizing the machines. Yep. I think in your mind, you're like, this is a less intimidating environment. It's got that nice little diagram on the machine. Yeah, it's got instructions. So I'm not going to feel silly because I can figure out how to use this piece of equipment most of the time. Yep. And so I think that's a beginner trap, if you will, that a lot of people will go towards. But in reality, as a beginner, you really should focus on free weights to start with. Because as a beginner, you have to develop those neuromuscular pathways, that mind-muscle connection, as well as work on all of those stabilizer muscles.
Absolutely. I see this all the time. People are a lot more comfortable going in, especially if you don't know what you're doing, getting on the machines and doing the machine circuit. I've seen people do this for years on end.
Oh, yeah.
They'll do every machine on the machine circuit, then they'll get on the treadmill, and then they'll go home. 4 or 5 days a week for 10 plus years. I've seen it. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Did they make any gains? No. Did they maintain what they had? Pretty much.
Yeah.
So they didn't lose any gain. They didn't gain any weight, but they didn't get any better either.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and as a beginner, you can pretty much do anything and make progress. But to James' point, after a while, you're no longer going to progress.
Right.
And as a beginner, like I said, I can't stress the importance of doing the free weights and building up that functional strength and those neuromuscular pathways. It's really going to help you when it comes to doing heavier, more technical lifts.
Absolutely. Stabilize our muscles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's many benefits to free weight. That's another video, probably, free weight versus machine weights. But they both have benefits. They both have withdrawals. The bottom line, you should be doing both. You should be using machines and free weights. And as a beginner, you should absolutely be doing the free weights. Get the neuromuscular efficiency, get the muscle stabilization. You're going to build more muscle with free weights anyway. So you should be using free weights.
Yeah. And not only that, I mean, if you're really tall or you're really short, machines aren't one size fits all. They're geared towards your average person. So if you're at one of those extremes, you're really not going to fit into the machine. And if you do, the movement pattern's not going to be natural. And that's one of the biggest drawbacks for machines, is just it doesn't always mimic a natural movement pattern.
Yep. You're locked into the machine's range of motion no matter what.
Absolutely.
I don't fit into a couple of machines, I can tell you that.
Yeah, his wingspan, y'all, is like too wide there.
But all this pullover, it clips my wings. I can't do it.
Can't have that now. All right, James, what do you think? What's another one that people struggle with or is a mistake they make?
Beginners usually do isolation exercises too much. I get it, because they can feel the muscle. They're getting a mind to muscle connection. They can feel it working. So I get it. I get the draw. I get the attraction. But you got to do your big compound moves, especially as a beginner.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm telling you. So going back a few years, there was this guy at the gym. He would always come in and he would hit the bicep curls. Next thing you know, he's doing push downs for the tricep. He might do some chest flies and then out the door. And it's like, whoa, dude, like, where were your big, heavy compound lifts? Like, compound lifts are where it's at because you're recruiting more muscles, more muscle fibers. You're working harder. It's just more efficient.
Sure. You're able to create bigger load onto your muscles with the free weights than you would with the machine weights. So it's an absolutely more efficient way to build muscle.
Absolutely. Isolation is just that. It's to isolate a specific muscle for a specific reason. Now, that's not to say you can't do isolation exercises. Maybe everything looks great on you, but you have really small biceps. Well, then absolutely you're going to want to do bicep curls or something of that nature. But in general, don't do all isolation exercises and neglect to do compound exercises.
A good program is going to have a mix of both.
Right.
And you should be doing both. Not all compound, not all isolation. Should be mixed up.
Absolutely. And I would start with the compounds. They're more complicated lifts. They require more energy. You're usually moving more weight.
You're lifting heavier.
So
do it while you're fresh.
Yep. Do it while you're fresh and full of energy. And then wrap it up with those isolation exercises where needed.
Yeah. I mean, you do your compound move, that's a heavy lift, whereas isolation is a little more squeeze.
Absolutely.
So you should do your heavy lifts first while you're fresh and got the energy for it.
All right. Another mistake I see beginners make is putting in too much exercise variation. They seem to have this need to always be doing this unique and crazy looking exercise every single workout, peppered throughout their entire program. That's not necessary. And in fact, I think that could negate some of the gains that you could have made had you simplified it a little bit.
Agreed. And I'm a little aged, so I'm pre-social media. A lot of this stuff has become from social media because they're watching whoever do 5 exercises, then they watch whoever do 10 more, and then you watch whoever do 10 more, and they're going, wow, I got 30 exercises I can do for biceps today. I'm going to go in there and do them all.
Right. I mean, sometimes you got to be careful too, because sometimes the exercises aren't even quality exercises that will get you those gains. Sometimes they're just, built to draw attention on social media, and there's nothing more to it.
Very good point.
And
be careful who you're taking advice from. Be careful.
Absolutely.
Make sure they're vetted. Make sure they know what they're talking about, because the social medias, the YouTubes, they are just full of people that don't know what they're talking about.
I see it all the time for glutes. It'll be some influencers on there showing you these really wild glute exercises. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, yeah, I know there's no way they got those glutes doing that, right? They were squatting, they were deadlifting, they were doing leg press, like all the heavy compounds. And that's how they got that.
Or they were born with it.
Yeah.
Genetics plays a huge role. 21-year-old out there, he's everywhere right now, Sam something. This dude is genetic freak. He did not build his muscles by working hard. Don't get me wrong, he works hard, but he's 21 years old. You do not have muscles like that at 21 without the genetics that come along with it.
Yeah.
So be careful who you're listening to. Menser, like we mention all the time, says these guys have success, but it's because of their genetics, not because of their workout program or anything else. Just they were born with it. So again, just be careful who you get advice from.
Yeah, so let's talk about why adding too much variation in there is a mistake. From my perspective, it's a mistake because it makes it very difficult to track your progress.
Yep.
So if your goal is to gain muscle at the gym, then you're going to want a progressive overload. So you're going to track how much weight are you doing on bench press? How much weight are you doing for squat? If you're constantly picking a different exercise, how can you track your progress over time?
You're also not giving the exercise enough time to do its damage.
Yeah.
We talked about it with the workout program. You should be doing that exercise for at least 6 to 8 weeks, at least.
Absolutely.
Focusing on that one program, the same exercises, 6 to 8 weeks, hopefully compound movements, and focus on getting stronger at that move, at that exercise. If you don't give it 6 to 8 weeks, get yourself stronger, adding a weight or a rep every week, you're robbing yourself.
Yeah. In fact, only after you plateau is when I would toss a different variation in there, in fact.
Yeah.
And I get it, y'all. Like, there's nothing sexy about going in and doing the same thing on back or chest every single workout. But if that's your goal, is to build up size, then you're going to train that way. And so it is what it is.
I get it too. And after 6 to 8 weeks, I'm ready to change it up.
Yeah.
But for those 6 to 8 weeks, I'm focused on that. Just a little, for example, deadlift. My goal will be to add 10 to 20 pounds in 6 to 8 weeks. And I will focus and hammer that deadlift and reach that goal in 6 to 8 weeks, no matter what.
Yeah. Another argument I hear people say who are pro exercise variation all the time is the whole idea of muscle confusion. What do you think about muscle confusion, James?
I'm going to go ahead and quote Menser here again. Your muscle cells do not have brain cells. They do not have to be confused.
If yours do, I want to know.
Yeah, please explain. Please explain how your muscles contemplate and then get confused. Go ahead and explain that one to us.
Yeah, absolutely. So keep it simple. Just stick to the basics. Stick to the plan, whatever your plan may be.
Every sport has fundamentals.
Absolutely.
Master your fundamentals. I don't care if you're in the NFL. They still do fundamentals every single practice. NBA, they still do fundamentals every single practice. Working out bodybuilding, you should be doing the fundamentals every single workout.
Absolutely. All right. What about another common mistake that people make while at the gym when they're beginners?
Not lifting heavy enough. I can understand this one too. It's intimidating, especially as a beginner. And you should have a buddy or a spotter if you're even thinking about lifting heavy. A spotter that knows what they're doing, you should have if you're going to lift heavy. But I understand the beginners shy away from it, especially if they're by themselves. I get it. But you should lift heavy.
I think sometimes it's a lack of education, though. And I'll use myself as an example. So way back when, before I had a personal trainer, I would do at-home workouts. I think I was doing P90X or something of that nature. And I had like all my dumbbells, but they didn't go past 15 pounds, right? And so I remember the first time I hired a personal trainer, Vinny DeRuba, and I did like a set of bicep curls. And I cranked out like 15 of these things, like perfect form, perfect tempo. And he's like, that's way too late for you. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, this is great. Like, I don't need to lift heavier. And he's like, yeah, you do if you want to get bigger.
If you want gains.
And I was just like what?
So this happens a lot with females. They don't want to lift heavy because they're afraid they're going to get too big. You're not going to get too big.
Yeah.
Trust me. We just said progress is extremely slow. If at any point along your progress you think you're getting too big, peel it back a little bit. Believe me, you're not going to lift weights and get too big overnight. It'd be nice. That'd be great. I wish that would happen to me. However, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, a lot of times I think it's a mental block too. I have had clients throughout the years, you know, they're lifting their weights, they're got their, you know, 8 pounds, 10 pounds, and they're comfortable lifting that weight. They know they're going to get, you know, a pretty decent workout, whatever. But, you know, we're here to lift outside of our comfort zone and make progress. And so you constantly have to remind them, hey, it's time. It's been long enough at this weight. You can do way more reps than what we just did. It's time to add weight or, you know, change it up a little bit.
You're not going to the gym to stay the same.
Yeah.
I mean, it's time out of your life. You should be busting your butt. So it shouldn't actually be fun. It is for me. I'm a little bit sick. And it's for fun for a lot of people who are a little bit sick. But in reality, you should be in there working hard enough that you're like, man, this isn't very fun. The results are what's fun. Not the actual work you're putting into it, unless you're sick like me. Come here. Then you like it. But you should be going in there making gains with the goal to make gains, not stay the same.
Right. And if you suspect you are lifting too heavy, sometimes if you ask an external person to observe you, they'll be able to call it out if you can't.
Somebody knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Again, and can say, no, you're cheating your form to get that up. Not your average Joe off the couch going, yeah, that form don't look good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I've had clients, right? So they'll be on the leg press and we got a pretty decent load going on and they'll get to their 10 reps, whatever. And I'm looking at their face. I'm looking at the perceived level of exertion and it's not there. And then, yeah. And then, and they'll be able to push the sled all the way back up and rack it. And I'm like, well, if you could push that sled all the way back up, you could have done a couple more reps. Like, I have no doubt. And they're like, no, there's no way. And I'm like, it's a mental block. Like, you need to push past that. You're much, much stronger than you think.
Yeah. And that's a trainer's job. All you trainers out there. You say, no, you're doing 3 more reps because I know you can. You don't know you can, but I know you can. So we're doing 3 more.
Absolutely. If you're a trainer out there, don't be afraid to give your client honest feedback. That's why they're paying you.
Should be.
Yeah, definitely. So this next one's along the same lines. A lot of beginners will do what we call junk volume. I mean, they are sitting there and they're lifting way past the point where it's productive for muscle gain.
I get this too, and I might have been guilty of this a few times as a beginner.
Me too.
You want to do more because you think you're going to get more.
Right.
However, that's not how it works. Once you overload the muscle, you should be done and worried about recovering, not continuing overloading the muscle. You're going to fatigue the muscle, you're going to overtrain, and you're not going to make the gains. It's going to stunt your gains, actually.
Yes, law of diminishing returns. And I think we're all guilty of this from time to time. And junk volume could be in a specific exercise that you're doing, or it could be the fact that you put too many sets for that body part into your routine. I'll give you a good example. Like, I go out, I do high intensity style training. So for, you know, just leg day, for instance, I do 2 supersets and then I stop because I've already done the damage that I need to and fatigue the muscle to the point where I did. Sure, I could keep going. I could do more leg extensions, this, that, the other, all this, you know, variation that we said don't do, but that's not helping. I've already done that trauma. I need to rest and recover and let my body build up. It's not necessary to do all that extra volume at that point.
100%. We talked about this in my leg video. Riley, that dropped this week. You know, Ronnie Coleman had 3 exercises on there. Well, I was doing 20 exercises. But if I put the intensity level where it needed to be for those 3 exercises, that's more than enough. The problem was I wasn't putting the intensity into these 3 exercises because I had 17 more to do. I was saving some energy, saving some energy. And that's the worst thing you can do. Put all your intensity into those 3 lifts, the big compound moves, and you're going to get the gains.
In fact, I do hear that one a lot too. It's like, well, I'm not really fatigued yet, but I will be by the time I get to like my next couple of sets. And it's like, no, let's like up the weight now. Like dump the intensity in each time, and then maybe we won't do that extra set.
Exactly. Whatever set you're on, you put everything you got into that set. Don't worry about the set 10 sets down the road. You worry about the one you're doing and put everything you got into the one you're doing.
Yeah. So another one kind of along the same lines is chasing the pump. Everybody loves that good gym pump. Yes. I get it. It feels good.
I've heard this so many times from so many different people. I get the pre-workout for the greatest pump.
What?
Good on you. The pump is great. Don't get me wrong. But I'm going to quote Mike Menser once again. Ladies and gentlemen, he was arguing with a young man at the gym who said the pump is what makes muscles. He said, stop.
What?
Look around the gym right now. Everybody in here is achieving a pump. Every single person is achieving a pump right now.
Right.
Take a look. They're not all making gains. That should tell you right there. The pump is good, feels great, but it doesn't equal gains.
A good, like, simple explanation of the pump is just like, pump your biceps. For those watching right now, go ahead and do this for the next 30 seconds. With no weight. Just really squeezing as hard as you can. You're going to start to draw blood into that muscle. It's going to start to fill in and swell up. It's going to pump up. But did I just make muscle right now?
Lifting air? No, you didn't.
No. I definitely didn't, right? It takes a whole lot more stimulus for me to produce muscle and make muscle and bicep curls than pumping air.
Right.
But I got a crazy pump just now, which was great.
Anybody can get the pump. Most people get the pump every single day. It's a biomechanic reaction to what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you're going to get the pump. And again, it's great, but it does not equal gains. So don't chase the pump.
So that's exactly what it is. It's a signal or a byproduct of your muscles activating. So the good news is that you are activating muscles. So that's good. And, you know, sometimes it could be an indicator of what muscles are firing.
It should be.
Yeah.
So if you're doing biceps, your biceps are going to pump. If your legs get pumped during your bicep workout, something's wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Something is wrong.
That would be an extreme. I'm not sure how that would happen, but that's a good one.
But yeah, and that's probably the most common one I get these days. I just want the pump. I just want the pump.
I mean, I get it. It feels good, but
I get it too. But if you didn't add a weight or a rep, that pump didn't get you no muscles, didn't get you no gains. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I hear a lot of time, well, I love the pump on arm day because of how tight my shirt gets around that bicep. It's like, yeah, but if you want that shirt to stay snug around that bicep all the time, yeah, we better make some actual muscles there. All right. So what about another one? I think another common mistake that beginners make is gauging their success on how sore they get from working out. They're like, yeah, I just hit the gym. I'm so sore. Like, I did so good. It's like, that's not always true.
I get both sides of this one. If I work out and I don't get sore, I'm upset because I don't think I did enough. But
that's not always the case.
The soreness is not a gauge of gains. For example, if you do a new exercise you've never done before, you're going to get sore from minimal weight, minimal rep. Did you make gains from that? Not necessarily. You start adding a rep and a weight every time to that new exercise. Now you're making gains.
Yeah. So I think it's important to track, right? So what you're talking about is tracking your progress over time. And maybe you do write in your journal, hey, I got really sore the next day, and then track it that way. But, you know, good example for you guys, I could go and I could do mountain climbers for the next hour.
Yeah.
Am I going to be sore tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yes. But did I gain any muscle? No, not at all. So that's definitely not a good indicator or gauge of how well you're doing.
Yeah, I did when I started squat lifting. Wow. When I started squatting and deadlifting, I started with 135 pounds and I did 3 sets. I did this for 3 weeks. I got so sore every single week from that minimal weight. I can deadlift over 500 pounds. I can squat over 500 pounds, but I started with that stupid lightweight and got stupid sore from it. That was not gains.
Yeah.
But I still got sore, very sore from it.
Definitely, definitely. Another mistake I would say is just not asking for help.
Big one.
A lot of times, something's off, whether it's your form or the fact that you're not making progress or the exercises are wrong, but you're too afraid to reach out and ask someone for help.
Yeah. When I worked at Gold's Gym, I was at Gold's Gym for 10 plus years. They ran a promotion for about 3 months where every member that signed up got 3 personal training sessions. This was fantastic. I mean, over the 10-year span, this group of members that signed up did better, lasted longer,
Right.
showed up more. The biggest thing is people not
Yeah.
showing up, showed up more than any other group in that entire 10 years. And they had a program, a
Right.
3 workout program written down for them to follow. So they had a plan. They weren't lost. They weren't confused. They weren't doing jump volume. And these people showed up more so than any other window of my 10 years at Gold's. I wish we kept that promotion, but Gold's killed it.
I mean, just think about it. If you're not asking for help and you're doing it wrong, you're not going to get the progress. Why would you keep going? Why would you keep doing it? I mean, you wouldn't.
And you're going to get Billy Bob, who's really trying to hit on you, trying to give you advice, saying he's giving you workout advice when really his motivation is trying to hook up.
Yeah, definitely not good. So don't be afraid to reach out, even if it's just hiring a personal trainer just to get you going. We have a lot of clients that we do that for all the time.
Absolutely. And make sure your trainer is vetted, know that they know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
You get what you pay for. Keep that in mind.
All right. The last one we'll go through today, common mistake, is doing your cardio before you lift. What do you think about this one, James?
I think this is a completely another video. That's what I think about this one. But real quick, if your goal is to get muscles, gain muscles, put your energy into that first, not your cardio.
Yeah. And I would like to decompose it a little more. So how about next week for our live, we'll go through that, right? Why cardio before lifting is not ideal for making gains. So if you're tuned in looking at this video, definitely tune in next week and we'll go all through why that's a mistake and you should focus it the other way.
Great idea. It can get pretty deep, so
absolutely.
Probably a whole nother video.
All right. Well, hopefully all the beginners out there or even just intermediates found this video helpful. I mean, we definitely went through all the common mistakes that, we've either experienced or seen people make, and hopefully you can avoid them after hearing this.
Like I said earlier, with the internet, you got the information, man. Just make sure you're getting it from the right place. Right. Not don't get bad advice from the wrong place. Get a reputable source.
Absolutely.
And go in there with a plan and attack that plan.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Well, thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this video. And for more like it, definitely check out all of our playlists. We have one for every major muscle group. And so no shortage of information out there for you guys to take a look at.
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in and the comment, Riley. You the man.
Bye, everyone.